everybody, and welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Larson. Today is episode 241-2. And when you listen to this, I am actually going to be at SeaWorld. So we're going to Orlando's SeaWorld for the day. And I'm super excited, I have to tell you, because the tickets are like $109 US plus tax a day to go in. Like that's just for a day pass. Of course, you can get better ones if you do 2-day passes or weekly passes or yearly passes or something like that. But in this particular case, the 1-day pass was 107, 109, I think it turned out to be, somewhere around there. So say just under 110 US. And so we were planning on going there, and it was interesting because we knew we were going to go there, but I kept going to buy the tickets, and then I wouldn't click purchase, and I kept wondering why I was being a bit, what would look like, indecisive about it. And so finally, so that I'm pre-recording this on Sunday, and we're going tomorrow, which is Monday, to SeaWorld, and it's like, okay, we better get these tickets now. Well, in the process, I'd also come along this website, Orlando Fun Tickets or something like that. And the tickets, you could get the tickets to go for 1 day for 89 US plus tax. I thought, wow, well, that's kind of cool. That's like a $30 a day for each of us savings. So that's cool. And again, we weren't sure we were going to go to Kennedy Space Center. Are we going to go to SeaWorld? Are we going to go to Epcot? Are we going to go to none of them? Like, what's our plans, right? Today, we just kind of did a day where we went and did some shopping and went and watched some NFL football in a bar. And now we're back at our Airbnb, just kind of hanging out. And finally get ready. Okay, I'm going to go do my podcast. Well, before I do my podcast, better book the tickets. We'll book the tickets for SeaWorld and see what that is. So go online and booked. And no kidding, you guys, no kidding. They have a Black Friday sale. So this next week is the US Black Friday because it's their Thanksgiving. And they had a Black Friday sale for these tickets. And no kidding, the tickets were $39.99 US. So, sometimes when we think we're procrastinating, sometimes when we think we can't make up our minds, it's because the universe, the divine God source knows, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Something good's coming. You'll really like it. And so then you go to do something and it's like, holy mackerel. And it was really cool. I didn't know this, but you could prepay for your parking online, which is now done. So, but booked the tickets to SeaWorld and prepaid the parking. So we're all good to go tomorrow. So, and it was interesting too, because living in the world of question, when I was first going to purchase these tickets, I did end up actually not purchasing the SeaWorld tickets through that Orlando Fun Ticket thing. I actually ended up doing it through actual SeaWorld. I think it was actually $40.99. So it was $1 more to get them on the SeaWorld site. But I was also able then to pre-book the parking, and there was just an ease with it. So it's really funny how, sometimes you can spend $5 or $10. Sometimes you can save $10 or $20. Sometimes you save $3. Sometimes you save a lot. Like that's what, 40 instead of 110. Oh gosh, what is that? $60, $70 difference per person. So that's 140 plus tax for the two of us. And that's American. And if we would have paid, then you transfer that into Canadian money, well, jeepers, that was a heck of a deal. So I was pretty excited about that. I was very excited. These little things sometimes. And then the next day, on the Tuesday, we're going to go to the Kennedy Space Center. I keep wanting to call it the Space Science Center because in Edmonton, the city closest to where I live, they have this Edmonton Space Science Center. And so we keep thinking the Space Science Center, but it's actually the Kennedy Space Center. And so I ended up actually buying those tickets because that felt right to do it on the Orlando ticket thing. Because on the Orlando ticket thing, you could get the tickets for $47 a piece plus tax, and then there was a service charge. Whereas on the Kennedy Space website, it was actually 57, then plus tax, plus a service charge. So anyways, that was fun to kind of save the little extra here and there. I was, sometimes. And, so then, on another way, we've checked into this Airbnb and it's very, very interesting. I just really want to honor how I talk about this because it was really it's been an interesting experience. It was super light to book this Airbnb. Yes, it was a good deal. Yes, sometimes you get what you pay for. And I actually didn't book it for about 3 or 4 days because I sat with it energetically. And we actually had a decision between this one and another one. And we're like, well, which one should we stay at? And it actually ended up that this was the one that I call Talk to Me More. Now we've got here, and we're kind of what would be called out, sort of way out in the boonies, still only like 15 minutes from lots of restaurants and all that kind of stuff, maybe even just over 10. We're only maybe 15 minutes from Orlando. But it's there's a lot more trees here. It's very, very private. We're kind of at the end of a road. And it's interesting because there's some really, really nice houses in this area. And then there's some that are just sort of okay. And this is one of the ones that's just okay. And so at first I was judging myself for for thinking I should have had something a little fancier. Like the princess in me would like to have the beds be a little more comfortable, the pillows be a little bit more comfortable. It's an older trailer or an older double wide trailer that has some extra bedrooms in it. It is, definitely older. And you can tell that just from this area, there's a lot of things that are actually older in this area, the homes, the trailers and stuff like that. So when we first came in yesterday, we were kind of like, wow, this is really, really interesting. And I ended up actually not sleeping well last night. And, without going into too much detail, it probably took me till about 2:30 in the morning to fall asleep. And that was actually after doing a meditation. I then fell asleep for a couple hours. I then did another meditation. And then I just rested listening to just a beautiful heart-centered, harmonizing music piece. And so I didn't get what I would consider a really great sleep, but I was really aware of a lot of thoughts in my head, a lot of points of view that I had. Now, what's interesting is these people that actually own this place are from Colombia. And the mother, who's probably around my age, maybe a few years older, but around my age, has um, been here in the US for 3 years, and her two sons are living here. And they've been here for about 6 or 7 months, and they're actually here on golf scholarships, which is really interesting. So I have to say, honestly, that if I went to a different home that was of this, I would call caliber, I would very likely probably leave and go somewhere else. Yet it's really interesting because my hubby and I have both talked about this, and we're very aware that these people that live here, this place is probably like a high-end mansion from what they lived with in Colombia. And so it's so interesting that this is where the light and heavy, trusting your intuition, following your gut, what is the truth here, what's really going on, that there's a time that you can go to a place and you'll be like, you know what, this doesn't work for me. I require something else. I require something more different, whatever the word you would use, and then you would then move on. Or in this particular case, we actually have chosen to stay and allow it to also see how it's contributing to us. So after we first got here too last night, and got ourselves somewhat settled, the two young men that are here, which are this woman's son, the sons, because she's actually in Colombia right now. It's her mother's and her husband's mother's 90th birthdays. So they've gone back to Colombia to join the family to celebrate those. And so we've got these two young men, in their 20s, lovely, lovely men that we actually would feel really almost embarrassed if we left, like that their hospitality wasn't enough. Do you guys get, like if you stayed in someone's home in Mexico, their standard of living would be different than, say, what I would say have in my house. Yet, um, hmm, their hospitality would be so wonderful, the kindness that they've welcomed us. It's almost like what I would normally choose or be okay with doesn't even come into play here. So I'm not gonna lie, this has been out of my comfort zone. I'm not gonna lie that I've had to do some processing. I've had to think about this. I've done a little of the emotion code with it, a little bit of EMDR with it. I have sat with myself and chatted with myself and with my hubby about it. And I'm really, really proud of where I am with it all. Now, that doesn't make anybody wrong if someone came and said, "Hey, this doesn't work for me. I'm not staying here." Like, the beds are clean, the blankets are clean, the bathroom is clean. We're given full access to the kitchen, to their laundry. Um, their Netflix they set up for us last night. Like, really, there's a lot of really beautiful things that we have with this. And it is different than what I would normally choose. And we're still continuing to choose it anyways. And it's reminding me of when I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's advanced workshop back in September. And he puts us into and invites us into situations that put us out of our comfort zone so that we can allow ourselves to see where we're really functioning from. And I could have chose to be very spoilt, very high. I'm just don't know what words, because I don't want to insult anybody on any end of the scale. But I definitely could have had a real wine fest, like whiny fest. And I just was so aware that that wasn't something that was going to create more. I was so aware that something different was being asked for here. And it was funny because earlier this week I actually even asked, because I would love to go to another one of Dr. Joe's workshops. It was his 7-day advanced ones where, we get that experience of being put in our out of our comfort zone in a beautifully safe environment. And that's the thing, is this is a very safe environment. And it's just different than what I would normally expect. And it's allowing me to see the points of view, the conclusions, the ideas that I have, and I'm able to come up against them and choose something different. And what's really cool is that one of the young men, we started talking with him, and he actually was sharing with me that he wants to go in for psychology because he's fascinated with how our thoughts create our reality. He did meditation for a year, and he said it changed him from being a depressed person to someone who was happy. It changed his life. I got to share the same thing. And I got to mention Dr. Joe Dispenza. But it was just, regardless, I was really aware that there was more going on here, that it's not always about what we get when we go somewhere, but it's also what we contribute, which then is like a gifting and receiving. So we get gifted in a different way. So that's absolutely what has ended up happening here. Yeah, so even this morning when I got up, I was still kind of like, well, I don't know. Maybe I should go look on Airbnb. We should see if we should stay somewhere else. And I will say honestly that I did briefly look, and I was aware that that choice was heavy. So, um, and it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to let something be what it is and allow ourselves to move through it and really honor ourselves with what we're feeling, good, bad, and ugly, and then go forward from there. So yeah, this has been a really, really different holiday. It's had such different like celebrations, and then sun, and then neat experiences, and then this has also been another really interesting part of an adventure. So anyways, yeah, if I was to wrap up this show, I would just want to share with you guys that, change, becoming proud of yourself through discomfort, doesn't always show up like we think it's going to. And yeah, how awesome is that? Okay. Anyways, you guys take care. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Take care. Bye.